Hello, everybody. It's Gster, the boss. I got a treat for you. I got Twinkle Toes with me. I also got Artie. We call her the Pied Piper. On this stream, Nephilim versus Eclipse TSL. This is week 4, game 1. Alright? Nephilim versus Eclipse. Eclipsis.
Eclipsis. It's Eclipsis, get it right.
Sorry.
That's why I'm here.
Howler and Artemis on the co-cast, hoping to bring you a nice, friendly game, good game, and yeah, stick with us. We got three games coming up in this match of 3 games. All right, so we've got Eclipsis on the red side. Right now, we're looking at Shapig in the Levy along with Luigi, Bozo Cat on the Guardian. Eddie's their battle cruiser. Oh, and PC is the Overlord. Maw coming in the Destro, hanging back a little bit here. Nephilim coming out with double destroyers, Yellow and Wildfire. Double carriers, Dusk and Cage. Leviathan, Bite Light, and Raven is Lullard back here. So let's go to the analyticals and talk about what we're going to see out of these compositions. Howler, could you comment on what Nephilim's strategy up here in the blue is going to be?
Well, first I just want to make a comment that the reason why Maul is hanging back is he's waiting for reinforced ult, which is generally a great thing, especially if teams open heavy mukes. The one thing it's terrible against is interceptor launches, and it does look like the carriers went interceptors and they are in the center. So I mean, this is one of those times that extra hull might not pay off when you first start off, but you know, it's the very beginning of the game, you know, they still get time. As far as Nephilim's strategy, I mean, it looks like... One second, I got my team colors mixed up.
No worries. Yeah, from the top, I'm finding more and more these days we're seeing, I've seen carriers in the center now, not necessarily relegated to a side lane. So that's sort of interesting how Wildfire's getting priority in the bottom. He's dancing with Shapig, the Levy. And then you have the carriers in the middle being some heavy pressure with their launches. And I'm also surprised they're going for the BC and not the Overlord, because Overlords are typically more common targets for launches with less armor.
So what are we gonna see out of Eclipsis here as long-term strategy?
Shh, you can't say.
Secret. Artemis knows it, so it's a secret.
Well,
Howler,
it's a secret. Shapig's
guess.
on the outside, he's gonna get OP'd. The Leviathans are gonna get really, really strong. The center's gonna stay alive and let the Leviathans get really, really strong.
Alright, so they've got Howler on the outside with Shapig doing his best to deny. Went with the 4-3 for the Destro, pushing the center as looks like the plagues are starting to take some effect on Yellow Man, down under half of his health right now. Lullard looking for these EMPs at every chance that he can get. But you were gonna say, Howler?
I was saying, I think Lullard's doing a decent job. He's forcing PC to stay in the back more so that he can't get as many plagues off when they're all balled up. He is getting individual and double plagues off, which is good, but you know, it is preventing the center ball push, even though Yellow Man's not going to be too tempted to ball push since he's just going to be pushing with launches.
And that really hurt. Actually, Yellow Man got, I think that was his 3rd plague. So he's gonna have to go back because he's almost down to shields only at this point.
So when carriers come out double and they're on the inside like this, do people still standard go 6 ints on this?
I've seen it 2 ways. I've seen the 6 ints, and I've seen one go pure lasers to be the anti-launch, and one of them go the standard build. And the reason for this is one of the ships on the outside, typically a Guardian or a Destro, is going to farm outside for the first 5 minutes, and then they rotate in and out, so that the standard carrier can go out there. And the reason for this is so, you know, a Destro could go back and get early speed and provide an early warp push. I mean, I think the first team I saw do inside carriers more than once and make it one of their staples was Made in Taiwan. And since then, I've actually seen it incorporated in quite a bit of people's comps.
Okay, so to point out the farm just right quick, about 100 advantage, a little bit over 100 advantage for Eclipsis right now. And Artie, you were gonna say?
Yeah, I was actually just going to point that out. In Luigi versus Bite, like Luigi has dominated his side lane. And interestingly enough, look at it. Despite the fact that there were the double 6-cent launches and there's the Destro in the middle, Eclipsis is not looking too bad. They're basically they're pulling back a bit because they're afraid of a warp trick. But EC still has shields and didn't even need to go back to get pods. The Overlord's almost at full health, so everyone's doing very, very well.
Okay,
On that side, and Pig's getting OP pretty. He's on his way to becoming OP along with Luigi.
Yeah, looking at that score is 164 right now, and Luigi's is 150. So both of them higher than the top farmer, and Nephilim, along with Bozo Cat, is also high farmer. So, we're gonna have a pause right here.
Yeah.
My question for y'all is, I mean, you have double levies on the outside. Your levy's losing. Why doesn't the levy call for one of the 6-int, carriers to come help him do a quick launch? Because, levy launch with a 6-int launch would help him push back Luigi since they are available right there. I mean, I understand they're trying to use interceptors to push so Yellowman has support, but what's the call with not launching on one of the levies?
To be honest, I think launching would be a pretty good call. I guess I'll try to either they didn't think of it, or here's the other, possibly an alternative. What pushing power do they have in the middle, really? They only have they have a Destro and a Raven and the 2 carriers. Carriers they don't have missiles, so they can't push by themselves, really, without their ints. So, in some ways, in order to hold the middle, they have to keep constantly launching. That's their method of holding the middle. So, that could be an alternative thought. And then, of course, some number crunchers could say, well, whether it's more effective to do one or the other.
So it looks like, it looks like early on that strategy using those interceptors in the middle didn't quite have the effect that the Nephilim guys were looking at. And in the middle, they've kind of seen themselves get pushed in a little bit. As Howler pointed out, on the outside, one-on-one levy action is going the way of Luigi without a carrier coming over there and having some launches. Looks like we're going to get back started right now, and I would pose this question to you. How do you turn what seems to be, it seems like they're losing control of it a little bit if this farm advantage keeps stretching out like it looks like it's going to at about 200 right now. How do you regain control of this if you're Nephilim?
Looks like Eclipsis is initiating a warp trick on Luigi, and then they're going to go on Bite. Like, Luigi's pushing heavily on Bite, but looks like the team did not warp in synchronous, but it looks like they're going to go for the kill here. Or perhaps not. They may end up switching and going down to the Raven.
Yeah, Bite gets out of there with that 1.6. Looks like the focus is going to come on Luigi from Nephilim on the counter push. No, they're diverting up to PCXL or... No, actually, who are they focusing? It would be a good call
if they did turn on the Obi.
Yeah, that's what I assume they would do, but they're going for the BC Eddie instead.
Yeah.
We'll see if this cover is going to be enough to... It looks like only the Destro's in there right now, so... Yeah, he appears to be safe and getting out of there.
They're not going to be able to save him. Unfortunately, they don't have support or a transfer, so they're really just hoping their DPS scares them off.
Yeah, okay, well then you lose Eddie to...
Trade.
You lose Eddie to the push right here. You're going to see if Wildfire can get out of there without being killed himself.
He does have the 1.6 speed, the transfer, and the repair bots. I mean, we should see Wildfire pump back. He should be using repair bots so he can tank, but he's not.
Yellow Man is at 1.5 speed.
Luigi needs to hang very far back right now because he's only down to about 1400 health. I want to make a note, he got a 1.7 speed and in part to help set up that warp trick. So he sort of sacrificed some tents and some armor. Shipig in this case went for Bile instead of going in trade for that extra speed.
This will set the... Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. No, they didn't get trade, so that is going to help the farm for Siphon. Then naturally now, if you take a look at the comp, what does Eclipsis have in energy deny right now? Fortunately, just the Overlord for Siphon. So you could very easily see, the carriers now maybe going for techs, or maybe just keeping up the anti-harassment, and just because there is no direct camp counter, you don't have pods, the Leviathans will be forced to get acid spray.
So do we think that that loss right there from Eclipsis is a result of the delayed warp on some of the guys that they had trying to warp in there?
I think that didn't help, for sure.
I mean, I would also attribute it to having Wildfire come in late with 1/6 speed, and absorbed so much damage because Yellow Man absorbed the initial damage, and so that allowed them to continue pushing. And because Yellow Man was significantly slower, Lola was able to concentrate his shield transfer to Wildfire.
Yeah. And actually, we can talk a little bit about the upgrades that we're getting so far. So Shipig is going for his one-shot farm, but he's actually going to Bile, so he doesn't seem too worried about PDDs just yet from the Raven. PCXL went back and he got some more energy. Maul went back for 3 lasers in his bots, a little bit of energy. Both on Nephilim's side, we have 11 and 10 ints for Yellowman and Cage respectively. Destro went for more lasers and bots as well, not as much energy as Maw. And Wildfire's gone for more heavy armor and bots. So yeah, it's gonna be double Destro, double carrier. It's gonna be hard to keep that middle.
And a lot of DMAT gonna be coming from Lullard here too. You see the push happening right now. If you are if you're Nephilim, that push that you just had really helps out with that farm at disadvantage that you were about to be at. Right now they are sitting at, well, they're still down by about 60, but I guess you'd have to expect over the course of the game they can make that catch up. But I mean, Luigi and Shipig playing Leviathans equals Leviathans farming a whole bunch, so it's to be expected.
Well, I mean, it's very doable for ETL right now because all they have to do is have their levies go kite build and force the PDD transaction to happen, and then at that point you just have PC have Siphon. Because what I've been noticing is PC's been able to get off plague after plague after plague because Lollard's primarily concentrating on DMAT. And so this has actually been whittling down the carriers, and the Destros can't get close to the levies until PDD arrives. So, I mean, it's going to be very advantaged this way. Also, BozoCat can think about being unconventional, Howler style, aka going into Infestation, because with the 2 levies and Plague, you should be able to actually whittle down the Raven and or the Destros pretty significantly. The carriers are only at 11 ints and 10 ints, so it's not very significant as far as like pushing them off if you have the acid splash come out, because Luigi does have it. I mean, I don't know what your say is. I obviously hear the chuckles.
No, I just want to point this out to the viewership that Howler is a strong proponent of Infestation, and I love talking back to him and telling him that it's garbage. So I couldn't help but laugh. But that is not me saying that what he's saying isn't a viable strategy at all. In fact, I mean, it's something that is very powerful. It's just, I just laugh because it's Howler and he's saying Infestation again. But,
interesting enough, Bite Light and Levy Boy has chosen not to try to go for range. I mean, I'm sorry, I apologize. He chose to go kiting on Shipig instead of going DPS.
He's got that one range advantage over there.
He's not really using it too much. He's actually being pushed regardless of having the range ability. Right, we do see a Parasite go off on Bite Light.
Yep.
Siphon Energy. I lied. Bozo.
No Parasite yet.
Yeah. The Parasite
on the
didn't
Raven.
get. It got put on somebody.
Raven.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So here we
Even
go.
with the Parasite, the EMP was not able to be dodged.
Even being a ship down, Eclipsis has regained a little bit of a farm lead of 100, so they can just keep up the same kind of play and resistance to the launches that they have, then they may be able to recover, because they do have the double Leviathan.
And if you got a chance to choose, if you were Eclipsis Artemis, if you had a chance to choose which ship you lost on that counter push there, would the BC be the least painful one to lose?
The BC, like, because they're not as viable late game, and there's always discussions in the forums about this, they're not as viable late game, I would almost say that, but because it has lockdown, I wouldn't want to give up the BC. I would almost consider maybe this is like the game of trade, right? Overlord's good for wearing down the Destros. Guardian can be good in its own right. Maybe the Guard. Because I'd rather keep the levies for the DPS and for the acid spray.
See,
Against potential launches.
I was torn as well. I mean, those, like, the way I look at it is I don't necessarily look at which ship to lose, I look at which ship and who's playing it. And
Big
those
push on Maw here. Sorry to interrupt. You could double 3 bombards on Maw in a row. It looks like they were just trying to push him back. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, it's no worries. I mean, you're calling out the things that are more important. I would hate to lose if I had a Guardian and it was Bozo. I'd hate to lose him because he is a very strong guard player, and I think you would need the corrosive acid to wear down the Destros more, and or have one of the levies go crush him, because you will need that additional damage, especially if we see the PDDs go out.
So what do we think of this focus on DMAT as opposed to EMPs that you were kind of pointing out previously, Howler? You think that's you're getting more bang for the buck using your DMAT instead of an EMP if the choice has to be made?
Well, interesting enough, he actually switched from going DMAT to EMPs as soon as the Parasite went on him. I mean, we were seeing more defensive matrix and being more passive with the EMP, but as soon as he got Parasite, he became more aggressive, which, you know, I guess has its advantages because you're not really revealing what's behind you anymore.
Okay, so...
And, I mean, also there's also the option of Lullard getting PDD against the 2 Leviathans, and I think that's going to be a later game option for him.
So you don't
Luigi
think that's
is
the
actually
next
behind
thing
the
he's
Leviathans.
going for?
They are on Luigi, but Luigi did just get out of there in time.
And he just did a rapid regen. He's full up, and he has another
Up to
one
speed.
set.
Yeah, he upped the speed to get out of there. He was at 1.7, he is now at 1.8.
Alright, so moving with the quickness is Luigi. Back here even a little bit behind the line right now because he's got all that speed sitting at 4 in his armor. Meanwhile, Shapig's up here hanging out with Bite Light. He hasn't gone up to 10 on the range. Bite Light's attempting to get the kite action going here. Shapig's just sitting out here making money. I'm going to look at the farm right quick. The score for Shapig over 500 right now, so pretty massive. Next high farmer of the game is Bozo Cat and the Guardian, and then after that you've got Luigi. So a lot of powerful ships over here on the Eclipsis side. What are you looking for in your strategy and the scenario if you're on the Nephilim side, Artemis?
I'm looking for a case of, I mean, already we've seen a couple of ships sort of be a little bit out of position and such. Now Luigi is 1.8, so it'd be very hard to catch him. But I would say if they could catch and snipe Shapig, that would be a real big bonus. And at this point, actually, yeah, I'd be trying to weaken the middle, sniping one of the ships with the interceptors and pushing with the Destros would be a really viable option. And also just getting tax on one of these carriers would actually be an option because Eclipsis can't deny it. So they could catch someone off, off on their own or something like that, or just text half the team and then go up. But I'm actually quite surprised at how well Maw's holding up against the 2 Destros with PC and Bozo helping.
Yeah, just right quick, I want to point out Shapig went up to 10 on the range too, so no more of the kitey for Bite Light, and he looks like he's going wide around. What'd you have, Howler?
I mean, I'd like to pose a question. I mean, I'm seeing this Overlord get plague after plague off. I mean, and it's not just one ship anymore, it's both Destros at the same time. Is there a particular reason you feel like the Destros feel like they have to be hugging? Or do you think they could split a little bit more?
I think they could be splitting. Eclipsis.
Oh, sorry, there's a warp
trick
trick on the outside, and they will be trying to cut down on Shapig. Shapig still is at 1.7 speed, they will not catch anyone, but will force him to go back some.
And PC's asking for a farm. He only has 190, so he definitely is probably feeling a little farm starved right now, especially if he's going to be using he's gotten Siphon. And if you want to be using those carriers, which don't have a warp, only one of them has warp in, which Cage should be thinking about getting warp because Dusk has it already. Level 17 20ins.
Alright, so farm advantage right now for Eclipsis sitting at about 160. So Nephilim brought it a little bit closer. They're going to reduce that with this control of the map right now. But it looks like the Eclipsis guy is going to be ready to come out here soon. As you see...
Shapig does have Z.
Yeah, Shapig's out with Frenzy right now. Maw, he warped into somewhere. He came out. He's got his protective field now. Both of the Destros, as you saw previously for Nephilim, are rocking the bombardment. And everybody has bots, as you would expect. Luigi came out, is not doing the Frenzy thing yet. Up at his 12 tenths. Range 9 still on the Bile Swarm and level 6.
So Bozo does have Parasite again. I believe he will go after the Raven again, unless he feels like one of the carriers is a bigger threat.
Yeah, at this point you'd have to be worried because I'm noticing Dusk doesn't have as many minerals, but Cage's bank has 400 in the bank already. So maybe that's why Cage didn't get warp in. He's going to be planning to get Tex. Because even if Eclipsis has really beefy Leviathans and can try to push on somebody, a quick Tex could just save him.
Alright, so Bite Light is out here. He's got 7 on his tents and 5 on his Bile right now. Playing across from Shapig, who's up to 12 on the Bile. So he is gonna take the greater amount of damage, definitely. They're sitting the same armor. But Bite Light does have a little bit over 1,000 more hit points than him, so he's got the health and he's got it regenerating a little bit better.
Another double plague off on the Destros. Interesting enough, even though there's only one ship that can energy deny them, they do not have proc field, which would be alleviating a lot of the damage that Bozo Cat's putting out with Acid Spore.
And I'm noticing Lullard is just, he's not bothering to EMP, like, there we go. It's as if you heard my mind. I haven't seen that many EMPs from Lullard. It's basically been defensive matrix.
Yeah, I've counted roughly 5, and he missed one of them.
Yeah, he should be much more aggressive on those EMPs, because that's going to help out prevent some of the plagues. Even if half of those EMPs hit a PCXL, it'll help out.
Alright, so the Destros look like, yeah, going in for the upgrades. Cage and Dusk are out soaking up a little bit of farm here.
They may act as a war point or not. No, because Bite is staying out. So, Bite's getting pounded by Shapig here. Bite's at deep orange and Shapig's pretty much at full health.
Looks like Maul is going to push on Cage. And now Bozo's going to push on him. Dusk could be in serious trouble here with no Vortex. Uh-oh.
Wildfire's warping in.
Comes a plague.
Oh, and there goes Wildfire. Bozo's got to go back because he's standing on his own with Moss pushing. This could be big
They
problem.
have the same speed. They will not be able to get away.
The other Destro's going to warp in on Wildfire, and that's going to probably snipe Bozo. He'll just stay on Bozo Cat.
Oh,
they don't have the speed because he stopped the bombardment. Counter warp after counter warp.
Ouch. 1.6 on the speed for Bozo Cat is enough to get out of there after the Destros drop momentum on the bombard. I thought we were going to lose them right there.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, what do y'all think about, Wildfire and Yellowman now starting to tech into Gats? I mean, he's at 6 Gats on Wildfire and 2 on Yellowman. What do you think about, going more tank build or, getting proc field versus getting more DPS in the center like that?
I think they should be more tanky because their Leviathan is, even though he's not doing as well in comparison to the others, he can act as DPS, and you have 2 carriers with it, like level 20 something interceptors. But I mean, yeah, why aren't they getting protective? Why aren't they getting protective field? Why are they going for Gats when you have Leviathans that are running around with 1.8? And I think most of Eclipsis is going to be 1.7 now.
You know what's terrifying me right now is Shapig has level 17 Bile. He has 2,500 health regen and frenzy and acid. Himself is a one-man wrecking crew, and that's why I'm actually terrified for the Destros that are being kited constantly and went Gats.
Yeah, and the farm advantage is over 300 for Eclipsis right now. Go ahead.
I think they're relying on defensive matrix way too much, and that's why we're not seeing many EMPs.
Oh,
and there
triple plague right there. Nice one by TSL, and look, and he's not even getting EMP'd.
Oh, she picked a cut in on Lollard. I think they should be backing pretty soon because they're gonna lose Lollard because do they have a text?
Pig's frenzy
No,
and
they
is going
still
to go
don't
for the
have
kill.
text.
Oh
This is a
no!
There
terrible
goes
mistake.
Lollard. Very nice cut in by now. If Eclipsis can cover everybody, I'd say they got this.
That's GG at this point. Wildfire can't tank anymore. He's already burning. He has no energy
There
to
we
repair.
go. And Shapig being the good man, that's how you say, I'm a good man, don't kill me. Shapig doing F dodge, just ninja from behind. It seemed like Nephilim just forgot that Shapig was there.
I
Ouch,
think
so
it was
costly error for Nephilim right there. They lose Weller just from not being aware that that was going to happen. So what happened with we thought a text was going to come out on Cage, and what'd they do instead?
They don't have text. So
Cage instead got Warping interceptors. He got 2 interceptor upgrades. He got some interceptor number and maybe some shields. That's it, and some energy.
So at this point, Jason, are you considering feedback because you have no energy denied for anything? Are you considering mines? What are you trying to do right now? Are you just trying to last the late game?
I mean, if you're trying to last to the late game and you've got 2 destroyers, then somebody should be thinking mines as far as I'm concerned. But man, probably reeling at the same point.
Luigi out.
Oh, Luigi making a little bit of a turn there into his team. Oh, and he stopped. Luigi stopped, so
he should be fine with that plague and acid spray, and bombardment's readily available. It looks like these interceptors aren't going to be able to do as much energy unless they can, as much damage, unless they can get some energy denied to prevent these mukes from canceling it.
Yeah. Here's my thought about Mines thing. I don't think that'd be a good idea because you have 2 Leviathans who could very easily just spam into energy. They all already have acid spray and they can just start cleaning up the map. If there was only 1 Leviathan, I think it would be viable, but with the 2 of them, I just don't see it happening. I think they may be better off with trying to catch one of them in a Tex, and then going for perhaps double siege would be crazy. Something like that.
Unfortunately, I don't think siege would help them because they invested so heavily into Gats. They don't have any lasers, and they don't have survivability at this point since they have no proc field.
Yeah. I think it was a case of not poor upgrade choices on the Destros.
Yeah, why do you not get prot field? Why do you not?
Well, now he has 425 energy, as before he only had 375, and before that it was even lower. I think
both Destros now field, by the way. At the 35-minute mark.
800 farm
I did
down.
not see.
Warping at the bottom on Dusk. You're going to be pushing in on Maw. Problem trying to cut in, perhaps to cut in Shapig or stay on the Destro. Shapig is frenzied up, and he's still not doing quite as much damage. We have Contaminate, and Acid Spray on Yellow Man. That pretty much tore down his shields. And
we are not seeing Wildfire take most of this damage. He should be, because Shapig right now is very dangerous with this Acid Spray and Frenzy that he had just popped with his 22 file.
And Shapig was whittling away at Bite Light, and then the Destros turned a little bit on Shapig to scare him off. Ease the pressure on. But yeah, and this is a case where you really wish you Raven for PDD.
Ouch, so you see Yellow Man's gonna run it in there. That Bioswarm is up to level 22, folks, so it ain't no joke. Luigi's got level 10 on his, still at range 9 here. He's up to 500 energy, just dropping acid sprays on these ints out here that Dusk is throwing. But yeah, hard for these guys to overcome Shapig now, and they have lost that Raven, that ability to do those PDDs. So the Nephilim guys are looking at an uphill struggle, and they're going to need to catch somebody in some shenanigans, I would think.
Interesting enough, Twilight does take into corruption about 37 minutes into the game. Unfortunately, I just don't think they can do the DPS, even with Vortex that we do see now in Cage. Maybe double bombardment, corruption, interceptor launch right after the bombardment maybe would take out someone, but they definitely have to take out Bozo or the Overlord because they are the most squishy at this point, and Bozo is starting to tech into Broodlords for an endgame.
That's the thing with the double Leviathan. It's a mid to late game comp. If you let the Leviathans farm right until the end, and as long as the rest of the team is in decent shape, that's like almost a GG there.
All right, so yeah, they're gonna. Okay, here's Bylight getting some pressure from that frenzy that Shapig's throwing at him right there. He's down in the orange. He's got to get out of the area. Shapig is coming down at. Yeah, he's staying out there. Looks like the Nephilim guys are gonna regroup and back up a tad bit. Like Howler was saying,
25 file.
the squishy targets in the middle are the Overlord and the Guardian, but can Nephilim avoid taking damage enough to really get one of these guys singled out and put him down?
Interesting enough, Wildfire is being the lead Destron on pushes, and he's just absorbing too much damage at this point.
Oh, there's a text. It fails.
Oh, and then
Text.
And he stopped completely with the Contaminate.
Yep.
And he will get another Siphon, so he will not build Warp and Interceptors to help him.
Pig is gonna, kill by. Oh, that's actually PCXL killed him. I guess that was the damn plague.
Look how much damage the Pig is doing, even when the protective field is up. His bile is so dangerous. 175 damage per.
And that's 8 attacks on that.
Yep.
So that hurts. Levy's gone. Go ahead.
Interestingly, though, the Eclipsis levies, they didn't upgrade their health at all until about just now, until the last like 2 minutes or something like that. They were going strictly into DPS. They just had to be more careful. They almost got run down a couple of times, but instead, Bite Light was going early on into health upgrades.
2,000 is the farm advantage now. Anything other than Derp City bring Nephilim out of this game?
Maybe overconfidence. Perhaps maybe Shapig or Luigi trying to solo a tower, which they could easily do, but staying too long and getting Vortex and having the whole team push on them. That would be the only thing I could see other than Derp City.
I could see a snipe on the CXL. He only has 6 lasers. If they catch him off guard, and away from the rest, that could be a potential kill right there. Because you're not going to catch Bozocat with his 19 needle spines. He'll have enough. He'll stay alive long enough, but PCXL is vulnerable.
Alright, so it looks like they're heading in for these ups.
So, G-Sir, you've been around a long time. Do you think Eclipsis is being real old school and not taking the second tower because there's 4 ships left on the opposing team? Or do you think they're not being old school and they're just saving that for the next pack?
I don't know, I think that they're probably saving it. I mean...
Whoa, see Cage down here with Frenzy.
Like,
oh, wow. And I
just looked over to him, he evaporated.
Luckily, I did have the screen on him. So you viewers did see the decimation that occurs when a carrier hangs out with a 30 Bile Swarm Leviathan.
Frenzied Leviathan.
Ouch.
And then so Eclipsis wins this match. What is it? 5. How does Warp Tower? The GG, does this count as kills? So it would be 5-0.
So actually, with GG or base snipes, the losing team goes down to 0 regardless. So the only thing that actually matters when it comes to ship score is how much is left on the winning team. For instance, if one of these ships were to die, like on ECL, right after the GG, it would still count as 5. So if somehow PC got sniped after the captain said GG, it wouldn't count, it'd still be 5.
Yeah.
Alright everyone, so this is G-Ster, along with Howler and Artemis. That was game 1 you just watched, week 4 right now? Week 4 of the TSL, Terran StarBattle League. 2 more games coming up. I can't guarantee that Artemis will be here. She might be in the game playing for Eclipsis, but Howler and I will be here casting at least the rest of these games. So stick around. These teams are going to regroup and then come out and go at it again.